unmute myself. Okay, I think you guys can hear me. So hey everybody, this is Evan. Today I'm kind of sharing this project that I'm working on. It's called Imagestream. It's just a very basic social networking application. You can post images. Right now it's only via URL, and then you can comment on them as well. Today my goal is just to implement a media object into the comment section. Pretty simple. It'll kind of become more clear what my goal is as we go along here. But right now I just want to pull the latest updates that I did from my laptop. I pushed them up to Git, and I want to pull them down from Git. So I'm going to do a Git pull origin link feature index main. Let's see if that works. Feature main index Git pull main index. Does not appear to be a Git repository. Cannot read from remote repository. Make sure you have a correct access rights. Okay, let's take a look here. All right, let me do, actually, I'm gonna close that. I'm gonna do it in a different window real quick. I don't think you guys will be able to see this. Oh, excuse me. All right, let's take a look. Feature in, oh, there we go. All right, my bad. Good. Origin. Sure. Index refactor. Okay, so terrible naming conventions. Feature index refactor. Terrible naming conventions. That's probably why I'm having problems. Okay, first, let's open. Make sure we open the correct folder. That's probably why I'm having issues. Yeah, that's probably why. Okay. Clear. Let's go back here. Yeah. There it goes. Okay, cool. Okay, Git status, whatever, restore. Okay, all right, that's good. And then I just want to clear all my tables. So right now I'm using React for the front end, and then I'm using MySQL for the database. So I want to post data. I just want to see what I have in here. Oops, sorry. Let's see if we can show tables. Oh, because I'm not in MySQL. Okay. Use Imagestream. Okay. And then we're going to do show tables. Okay, so we do have admin messages in there, but we don't have a post data table created. So what I'm going to do right now is just create that table by copying the script right here. Okay, so show tables, I should see two tables now. We now have post tables or post data. And then if we do a select all from post data, you should see like no values or whatever. Yeah, select all, empty set. Okay, so we don't have anything in there. And then let's go back here. We want to npm run build. And then we want to run our server too. I'm just running it locally right now on localhost 3000, port 3000. And then let's take a look. Once I refresh this, we should get a page that just says Imagestream, and then we have that like plus button at the top that allows me to create a new post. Okay. All right, so you can see we got our plus button, we got our icon. And what I'm wanting to do right now is just be able to create comments. So let's create a new post. We'll use this 787B as our example. So I'm going to do a post. I get a modal. I'm just going to type Mazda 787B. What a sweet looking car. One. And then I'm going to submit, and it brings us right to our page that shows us our 787B post, our title, the body of our message, and this little button over here. This still has to be refactored. I'm not sure that this is the final solution to making a reply button. So we'll refactor that later. But basically, you create a post, it brings you right to that post page. And then notice how we didn't refresh the page at all. We simply toggle between our posts when we click view. It just goes right back to the post. Okay, so when I create a comment, what I want to do is I need to, on submit, I want to have the picture that was submitted, and then I want to have the content or the message aligned right next to it. So let's just see what it does currently. So let's just say I do a test, and then let's see, our next image is going to be this Audi race car. Kind of cool. Okay, so I post that image, right? I press submit. What happens? Okay, so I get a test. 1-1. This is actually my comment ID. And then this is the body of my ID, which is what it's posting. And over here in the server, you can see I got some data. That's just because I'm doing a console log rec.body or something like that. So I'm going to close. Let's see the server. I don't need post. Yep. And then handle submit comment. It does see the comment and submit comment. Okay. So in the comment, you see what I'm doing here? Okay. So I have a comment section, and I render it, and then I iterate through the comments of the ID. If we go back to, let's go back here, and then let's select all from post data. Okay, so you see over here, whoops. Why can I, there we go. Okay, you see over here, I have like an object, like a comment object stored as text that I'm iterating through. And this might not be the best practice for or use of MySQL. But for now, this is what I'm doing. We have a comments object, and then I need to, I'm basically iterating through it using map. And for each ID, I'm returning a div right here that includes the ID, AK, this guy right up here, 1-1, and then the message, ID, and then the message, and my message is test. And you can see I'm getting exactly that. I'm getting div with an ID, 1-1, and then I'm getting a message, test. And it happens every time I submit it, even though I have a image URL in there. It's not rendering because I don't have, I'm not, this HTML template is not set up to render an image. Okay, so what I really want to return when I'm doing this this map function or this map method is I want to return a media object. So Bootstrap makes a cool object. I think it's actually called media objects. I misspelled it there. But let's take a look here. You can see it's purple because I already clicked on it. But basically, you can see that it makes like this is just like a media like you would see on Facebook. Okay. Okay. So I can probably just paste that in here and have to do my own thing with it. But we should be able to get something pretty close. Whoops. We should be able to get something pretty close. Actually, I'm going to undo that. And I'm going to comment that out. Okay. And I just want to make sure that we get everything captured when we're doing this. So we're going to return a media and we're going to return, let's see, generic placeholder image. Okay, so our image is going to be, our source is going to be this props dot comments, and we're going to access the, whoops, sorry. Comments, and then we're going to access the ID that we're iterating through in the object, this guy right here, and then we need the image, don't we? We need the image, and then for the media body, we don't really have a heading. But this guy down here, this is what they're using as a placeholder for the comment. And so I'm going to take that out in this dot props comments. We're going to take the comment at ID, and then we're going to take the message, right? That will be the message stored in our body. If you take a look down at our MySQL table, sorry if I can get this. If you take a look down here, our message, right? Message is the property that we're accessing in our render method of our comments class. And that should render the message that we applied to that property. Okay, so I'm going to delete the rest of this. Okay, I'm going to save, and then we're going to refresh, and then we're going to submit another comment and see what we get. Okay, all right. Oh, okay, so it's not quite working. Looks like we probably have an error. So let's take a look at developer tools. We'll see what's going on. It's probably a syntax error. Module build failed. Closing tag for image is not quite right. Oh, well, yeah, right? We don't have a proper closing tag. So let me do that. Okay, now it works. So we just didn't have our tag quite right. Okay. So now we're going to view this. Oh, well, that's really big. Whoops. That's really big. But we got the image. We got the image. And then we have a media heading. Okay, so we can probably delete. Let's delete this. Let's delete this media heading because we don't need we don't need that. Okay, we'll do a refresh. We got another error. No, we didn't get another error. We're way zoomed out for some reason. I don't know why this is zoomed so crazy. Anyways, I really don't know why this is. I don't know why this is, I'll have to figure this out later. It's zoomed kind of crazy. Anyways, we take a look at our image. Oh God, that's way big, right? But we have our message over there, test. We have our image. We probably need to limit the size of this, right? We probably need to limit the size of the image submitted because it's submitting, but look at how big that is. It's not even close to being right. So what did I do up here? What did I do up here? So if we take a look at post, what did I do with the image up here? We had an image column 7 M2. Okay, so with what I did with my image up here is I divided the page basically into columns. And I gave the column, or I gave the image a fixed column width, column -7. So what if I give this guy margin right 3? Why did I give him that? That must have been part of the template. I do this. Column 7. I'm going to give it a fix with a column 7. Okay. Now we go. Oh yeah. See. So what I did there is I gave the image a fixed width of column 7, basically in using Bootstrap, or Bootstrap's implemented Flexbox. You can give you can divide the div, or this section, basically. Where was I at here? Right here. So basically, if I assign media as its own row, right, I can divide it into columns of equal width 12. So I have 12 equal width columns, and then I can divide each section into however many columns I want to. So right now I have image, or this img tag, divided or allocated 7 of the 12 columns. And then media body is allocated the remaining amount of columns. Here, let's see if this makes any difference when I do this. Not really. Well, actually, that did make a little bit of difference. Now, why did that make a little bit of difference? Let's say I change this to column 3. Let's do 3, right? So when I change this, the size of the image on the left of my Audi should be much smaller, and the size of the space that the message body takes up or is allocated should be much larger. So let's do a refresh and click on the image and see what changes. You can see that. I kind of like the way that is, the way that image is distributed much better than it was before. I like a smaller image and more concentration on the body. So that looks good. Okay, so let's tidy this up a little bit. We're gonna make this rounded, and we're gonna set the padding to 2. Let's see what that changes. I don't think I did my rounded quite right. I don't think I did my padding quite right, because that image doesn't look quite right. All right, so let's go back to post. What did I do there? Because it looks like this image right here, it looks like I did that pretty well. I just did a margin 2. So I used margin 2 and then rounded. want to use margin instead of padding. Okay. Anyway, let's see what that does. Okay. So margin. I'm gonna have to get back to you guys on the margin padding because I'm admittedly not up to snuff on exactly the difference, but margin obviously looks quite a bit better. All right. Sorry. Let's just leave it like that for now. We're going to leave it like that for now. And then I just want to make sure if I add another comment to this, that it renders below this test comment that I made earlier. So test, we're going to do test 2. And then I got another picture up here. This is our Ford Falcon. If you play Gran Turismo 3, you know this car. It's amazing and it's awesome. So when I press submit, what I want to happen is for this Ford Falcon to render directly below my Audi. I don't know if that's exactly what's going to happen, but let's click submit and see what happens. Okay, so a couple things happen there, and it's actually exactly what I wanted to happen. One, our form disappears. And then 2, our comment renders directly below the previous comment. So that actually looks pretty cool. The thing that didn't happen that I wanted to is see this X. We still had this X here. I wanted that to change back to a reply button. We'll fix that later. But as far as like the comments go, that's working exactly how I want it. And then let's just check in our database to make sure. Come on. There we go. Let's just check in our database to make sure that our database updated. Okay, cool. It looks like it did. You can see we have one post in our database. And then in the comments column, we have an object containing 2 comments. Okay, we have comment 1.1 and we have comment 1.2. Okay, each contain a column or a property named replies, which we will have another object which we will be able to store replies. And later on, we'll be implementing the concept of recursion to go through the comments and go through those comments and go through those comments and be able to iterate or render an entire comment thread using, again, that property I mentioned, or that concept I mentioned of recursion. So right now this is looking good, and we accomplished what we wanted for today. We added our threaded comments section, and that's kind of cool. And just to kind of give you a brief overview of the functionality. So this is like a single page. You notice up at the top, we're not changing URL at all. So like when we view, we're going directly to this page and we're viewing it. And then I can create another one. Let's see, what is this other? Dodge Viper. If you're gonna be posting cars, you can't not post a Dodge Viper, right? Whoops. Control C. All right, my subject is Viper, my URL, and then a Viper test. Okay, we submitted it. We submitted a Dodge Viper. We want to post another reply. Shoot, I don't have another one. Post the 787B again because you can't go wrong with that. 787B post. Okay, and that rendered automatically. Beautiful. All right, so I can close that. I can view this. My data is still there. We still have our post there. I can close it. I can open this one. My post is there. My comment is there. It's looking good. So think of it kind of like it's a 4chan mini. You can make posts, you can reply to them, and you can make comments. And yeah, so far it's looking good. So that's all I have for today. And then we will go back and then we will get status. And then we will do a, we got ourselves a WIP. We got a work in progress, and where we rendered comments applies to posts. Okay. Git push origin, and then what was the name of our branch again? It is. It's not good. Oh, let's see. Feature index refactor. Failed to push. Some references. Okay, so git push origin. Let's see if I can copy this. Git push. Failed to push. Some references. Non-fast forward. Git push rejected. It's rejected because a pushed branch tip is behind its remote counterpart. Check out this branch and integrate the remote changes. I thought I already did pull though. Yep. Check our status on branch feature main. I'm on the feature main branch, that's why. Origin. I can push to that branch. That's no problem. I remember I pulled from that branch. I didn't do any real changes, so this should work, and it did. Okay. So that's an error that I made. I didn't change my branch when I pulled. I pulled my feature main refactor or whatever, but I didn't switch branches. So I should have checked git branch, and you can see I'm on my feature main branch. I'm not on my feature index refactor branch, which is a branch that I initially pulled, if you remember back at the beginning of the video. So next time I would do that, but pushing the feature main is fine because I did not have any. I had already merged my changes from feature main over to main, but did not delete my main after pushing those. So using feature main is not it's not necessarily good practice, but it's not necessarily detrimental to the overall branch hierarchy of the project. So I'm going to leave it at that. And there's a couple other things that we're going to be implementing over the next couple of days. Number one is the reply button that I kind of talked about, how you submit a reply, the post submits, the form closes, but the reply, the button icon doesn't change. It's still, you still have like the close icon. So that's bad. We got to fix that. And then the other part that I wanted to do later is we're not going to do, ultimately, we're not going to do these URL image uploads. We're actually going to do file uploads, and that will require some asynchronous operations and a little bit more advanced submissions. And we'll go over all that. And then what else? What else? There's a couple other things that I'm thinking of that I have written down, but I'm failing to mention them now. But otherwise, that's what we wanted to accomplish for today. You can see we have our threads building, and we'll keep building on those. And that's all we have for today. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.